there are different reports that is saying like how 80% of Indian engineers are unemployable or lack of new age technology skills. Is the education system broken? So I just put an example of this phone 3310 just because many of you have seen like if you are faculty you might have seen this phone. This was one of the best at one point of time. And right now if kids comes and ask like does it have Instagram, does it have Snapchat, can you use chat GPT inside that? What is education 4.0? And it mentions that knowledge and information, which is the disciplinary knowledge, is just one single element there. That is not the only the thing that is required for the people. So information plus skill. Beyond that, attitude is important. Attitude and the value system is very important because even if you have information, even if you have skill, how you make use of the skill is going to be the most important factor in the coming days. So it is very important session that understanding the importance of mindset, our skill set and knowledge and information. And hi all, let's get to the session. So as the Academy and Technology Focus Group convener for group of technology companies, I have been working with different universities, helping them out in changing the curriculum as well as I'm working with something called MuLearn. I'm experimenting with my perspective on how actually we can change the existing playground available for the students where mostly they are getting access to a system where that road memorization or memory drills is happening and they are not able to grab the skills and values that are required for them to flourish in the future. And we see like many of the companies coming here are telling like we do not have enough skills here. So that is where we want to take a look into what is happening right now. Then we will look into like what should we do to get connected and then prepare for the future. Okay. So here, like as I mentioned earlier, there are different reports that is saying like over 80% of Indian engineers are unemployable or lack of new age technology skills. So what should be the problem here? Like you guys can also chat. So I actually want it to be an interactive session. So good evening everyone. So can you some people can time me like what do you think like the reason for that is that the kids are not capable. Does anybody agree with that? If you agree that kids are not capable, then put yes, else no. Like the is the problem with the students or the kids or the new generation there? Is it is the question? You can say like it is the problem with the new age people, then you can say, mention like it is yes. If it is not, you can mention no. Nobody responding.
QB
Yes.
Aurora, would you like to answer?
Hello, somebody can unlock an answer also. Yeah. When someone say like, is the problem? The question is very simple. Is it the
So
problem of the?
there's an answer. They are capable but need the right training.
Okay, need the
Professor
right.
Nimish.
Okay, okay, sir. Very good. So I'm not able to see those chat. So is there? Because I just want to. So what did you find that? Okay, they are capable. Yeah, I seen that. But need the right training, right orientation, right access is the key, right? So, so this was a question, and when we say this thing, access, are they having access to the right places? And Do we think like education system is broken? So is that the problem? Is the education system broken? How many of you say yes? Can put yes. Some people who disagree can say no. Is the education system broken? I will be asking some questions. Just yes or no questions. You can see. So Rekha mentioned that it is yes. Anybody else? Two more people can respond. Because this, I actually want it to be a useful, engaging session for you because it should not be just like as it is online. We will come there and speak, and um, people will stay there doing multiple things. I know that that is the way online sessions work because COVID has made two changes in people. One is attending the class is for attendance, not for attention. Second one is we will discuss later, but mainly like this is not a session for attendance. This is just like I just want to tell you certain things that is very important, and I think that that will be helpful not just for you but also to others around you. Yeah. So Rekha mentioned like it is yes. Anybody else? One more person.
No, it is not broken. It requires some fine tuning.
Okay. Some fine
Tarang
tuning.
Chowdhury
Okay.
has said no. Lack of
Okay.
training and experience. Students are capable, lack of guidance. They
Hmm.
can't perform well.
Okay. So I also agree with that. The system is not broken. It is functioning exactly what it was designed for. It was designed at a period where fixed intelligence was very important. That is, we want to have knowledge and information to do things. But if you want to gain some knowledge, it was so scarce. You have to find a book or a person who has that knowledge. And that was the period when the system was built and and our need has changed. Education system is functioning exactly. The examinations are there, mark lists have been preparing, classroom sessions are happening. So whatever each person has a duty to do, they are doing it right now. And then you can see like the students here, that people will be blaming that students that they are not attending to the classes, they are not listening because you have to understand the era where they are born and brought up. They watch movies in 2x speed and they understand they are capable of learning everything and writing examination, scoring very good marks or an average above average mark in 2 days time because they just start learning even just before the examination do things well. Nobody is right now like daily taking notes and going back and studying on a day-to-day manner for them to prepare for the examination because much better content they have access to learn and synthesize the knowledge better and perform well in the examination. So many of those times that the way it is getting implemented is not the way it is required to deliver on today. So the need has changed. So I just put an example of this phone 3310 just because many of you have seen, like if you are faculty, you might have seen this phone. This was one of the best at one point of time. And right now, if kids comes and ask like, does it have Instagram? Does it have Snapchat? Can I use Chat GPT inside that? No. But it is functioning exactly what it was designed for. Still, if you use that, you can make a call, you can get SMS. It is not broken. It is functioning exactly as it was designed for, but the need has changed. And based on that, we have to have some modifications. But one thing, we are living in the most exponential times. The amount of new technology information that is getting generated is much higher than something that was generated over the past 50 years. And it is not practically possible to wait for every new knowledge to get bundled in a course and come it as a curriculum and then attacked. Because like right now you see like a lot of LLMs coming out. Chat GPT came 2 years before, and then OpenAI competitors like Microsoft came with them. Then Bard came, Gemini came. A huge war happening between these top companies, and billions of dollars are being pumped into this research. So what happens is like a lot of advancements is going to happen very fast, and we will be seeing a lot of change that is coming there. And all these things are happening within the very short window where our syllabus revision happens. It might be a few years, right? When was the last syllabus revision happened? Right now, I'm working with the universities in updating the syllabus. But if you bring in all the lot of new things in, who will teach? That is the biggest problem that we are facing right now. And keeping it fixed in the curriculum, does it work? No, because the shelf life of skills or and information is also getting shrinked. Shelf life of a skill also getting shrinked. Engineering, previously, if you see an engineer, it is a professional degree that you get it, and with that knowledge, you go and start working. And with the experience you gain, and up to your retirement, you will be working in the same domain. As of today, what happens is like after some time, things become obsolete, and learning should happen continuously, because learning doesn't, it is not like learning happen at one point of life and then you can live with that skills to the rest of the life. Things keep on changing. So we live in that exponential time, and it is not possible for us to wait for all information to be bundled in the syllabus and a person get trained for that. Then after getting that training, he is coming and teaching. We do not, we cannot do that, right? And relevance has become a moving target. Staying relevant, yeah, I have done this and I am relevant. No, relevance is moving target. You started using ChatGPT, then next things comes. And right now, the most invested companies are the ones who actually build AI agents to replace jobs. AI agents to replace jobs. So in the coming 2 years, immense change is going to happen in the way that we see the world today. And AI is highly underestimated right now. Like nobody said that it is an overhype of AI, because we have been seeing the overhype of AI for the past few years, few decades. For example, 10 years before, you heard like there will be autonomous cars coming and all the drivers' jobs will be gone. But still, the drivers are there. There is no autonomous cars in our streets today. So, over a decade, we have been hearing, and we just see that this AI is just a hype. But it's not like recently the Google's past CEO, he actually mentioned like it is much underhyped, because huge competition happening around these people on the big companies. They are investing everything on AI, and companies started checking off the jobs that is going to be displaced, irrelevant. Okay, you had seen the relevance is moving target. Okay, now 85 million jobs will become obsolete by 2025 was what he said in Future of Jobs report. But that much has not been replaced till 2024. I think around 20 percentage. Next 80 percentage will happen in another year. We have said like all the blue collar job will be replaced by AIs, robots, and all those things. Then some repetitive task will get replaced by AI, or some uh, programming will always be there, and then it will never get to the emotion part, or towards the creative side. But what we have seen is it first attacked the creative. You have used many of the generative AI tools for generating images, right? You will be seeing like generating videos, understanding and synthesizing voice and all those. So the creative part is even becoming impacted, and this job displacement is happening. You have listening like many of the bigger companies, 80% of employees they are giving in some notice to take voluntary retirement, or some places 10,000 people lost their jobs in Google or in Amazon. And the funny part is, even majority of them who worked in those companies who lost their jobs are not being placed in other companies yet. There are different situations. So our today's students, the world which they are going to work to is going to be completely different, because what we have seen, the campus placement and lot of hiring happening to the lower level of employees to do menial repetitive task, because the organization follows a pyramid structure. So right now it is going to change, and it is going to be a crystal structure where middle layer leaders themselves will become capable of handling lot of repetitive tasks, because those will be done by AI agents more effectively. If you are listening to the news, you might have heard about Devin, Devika, AI software engineers. It is generating code. It was just a hype, but in another few months, you will be seeing much advancements, because that is the pace at which things are changing. And it is a challenge for many who has many years of experience in the industry, because those experiences are just turning to be something that easily generated by AI, and it is going to be the biggest opportunity to the next generation people, because there is around 97 million jobs that is being said that it will be emerged by 2025. And our today's session is to know how to prepare for this future. So I just took this time to explain you the context, to make you aware that this is not just a hype. This is something happening worldwide, and many of the companies have shifted their direction towards a first world. Each and everything that you do today, like you will start seeing a agents there, Google, even Google, or document generation, document creation, all those things. And still we look back, and our system is exactly following the examination system which was designed long before, and the memory test is being done, and the clerical mindset people are being generated there, and those type of clerical jobs are going to be, the number going to be reduced, because people who learning going to be part of the job, and it is going to be continuous. So I just want to share you. So when we started, it was talked like there is more about attitude and skills, right? Because World Economic Forum recently have a report on what is Education 4.0, and it mentions that knowledge and information, which is the disciplinary knowledge, is just one menial element there. That is not the only the thing that is required for the people. So information plus skill, beyond that, attitude is important. Attitude and the value system is very important, because even if you have information, even if you have skill, how you make use of the skill is going to be the most important factor in the coming days, because we are set with lot of perception, lot of our belief systems, why we think certain way, and the ideology, because the we are an average of people whom we are surrounded with, and all the systems was created an era before, well, this acceleration was not happening, because like ChatGPT. I hope like all of you are using ChatGPT today, and start, but how to use it better, and learning that and using it better is very important. So essentially, is about valuing the mindset of our experience, and our session topic is mindset and skill set, right? So in facing the challenges of the complex world, there is a difference between learning and knowing. Long before, learning was learning was very important, because learning and then doing things, but and then understanding it. What you have in your hard disk is what you know, and learning is updating or something, adding something towards the hard disk. That is the fixed intelligence. But here, taking it and applying it, you need to know it better. And the most important factor is it is not just about learning, it is about the delta of learning. Delta of learning means you know velocity and you know acceleration. You should have learned it in school. Acceleration is the rate of change in velocity, right? So similarly, learning acceleration, that is rate of change in that learning. Whenever new things come, adapting and applying it is the most important skills that value. As the anchor said initially, like we actually should have curiosity, we should have critical thinking and problem solving skills. All those things are going to be much valued because, as we said, there was a period where pre-industrial revolution period where we used to say like a person should need to know everything to become an expert. Why? Because if you are a farmer, you should know like what a seed is and whether it is a good seed or bad seed, whether the weather, what the weather is, what type of soil it is, and what to cultivate. Everything a farmer himself should know. And that is the only people who actually is considered as knowledgeable or who can be successful. So more of information knowledge collecting and that happened. And then after industrial revolution, what happened is like specialization happened. People have to be doing repetitive jobs so that you will become an expert in one thing and multiple people work together. That is called assembly line model. Even the classrooms are an assembly line implementation of education. A lot of people coming together, one teacher come in, take one session, then go, next teacher come in. So each teacher, each faculty is an expert in one thing, and together it makes the product. So that is called the assembly line thing. So in the work also you will see like there will be one person as front end developer, back end developer, in the programming also like that. If it is any shop, there is repetition and efficiency to do it better in the repetitive task was considered as better in the industrial revolution period. And even when the software came in, the same was followed. But today, when we talk about AI, all those repetitive tasks, what will happen? It will be replaced by AI agents. AI agents for HR. Outcome as a service is going to happen. That is, what do we want the outcome? That is, AI agent will be doing for you. I actually wanted to show you some videos also on how it is progressing. Let me see, like I can show it at the end for you to understand the pace at which it is and what is practically possible today. I can talk in Malayalam and say like, hey, put a voice note, and I can chat in English with that and generate task and to-do list and all those things instead of going and writing in multiple places and then having the to-do list, everything we do online. That is talk in your local language and it get generated, and it is called voicenotes.com. It is from my friend who has Jijo Sunny, who has implemented it, and then it is available. So innovation started happening from our country today just because we have equal access to the knowledge and information that is available in the US or any other places. Previously, there was one difference. Previously, something happens in the West, we have to wait for 10 to 20 years minimum to get access to those. But today, if you see like there is something happening in US, the same time we have access to. But still, we have a mindset or a mental model to follow them instead of building. So the important factor is we actually need to understand the foundations, the basics in the college education. And you should have the avenues to collect more information on the changing pace. And then you have to apply it, and then innovations can happen from India more than any other places in this world in the coming decade. And that is why it is being said like this is going to be the decade for India because we are the one who are the most adaptive learners. We learn faster, but most of the time we are getting rendered out by others to build the products in US or in other places just because those access to those things were only in those places. Okay. So what we have to be having a mental model is that whenever we start learning something, just check whether it is a trunk or a leaf. It is called a semantic tree. Like whenever we talk about generative AI or chat GPT, it is a leaf. What it belongs to, it's a generative AI thing. So what is it and how it works and the algorithms or ML algorithms and all those things. So you just try to identify what is the trunk and where does it branch out and where you are, and then try to synthesize it. So that understanding the trunk is very important. So physics, understanding the foundational things. Then another thing, if you are learning that foundation is very important right now because all those repetitive things that is going to change. The jobs for such repetitive task is going to change. If you see like there are hundreds of thousands of people who are working in call centers, you will see agents that replace that. Data translation, transcription, and all those things. As of now, it is there just because there are people in the West who are willing to pay higher price than our normal package that we pay a salary today, just because they see it as cheaper doing it in India. And we are preparing people to students to get towards those type of companies that is who actually rent out resources to the other companies in the other projects outside. So what is going to happen is like many of those type of jobs are going to become obsolete, and each and everyone will have an opportunity to innovate. But because what should we do? Like we do not want the knowledge and information as before because it is available for free. You do not have to do the repetitive things because that is also going to be replaced by the AI. And right now, what we have to do is like learning how to use these super tools and solving problems around. Because a lot of new problems that is going to arise, and it is the period for solopreneurs. So understanding the foundation is the key. Elon Musk is it, you can see like he has built the Tesla, he has been working on Hyperloop. So physics, industry, technology, all those things, because convergence is happening between the digital, physical, biological, all those phases getting converged. Neural lace is something that he's working on. That is, you think it will happen. You can switch on a light by just thinking like, ah, let me switch on the light. So those type of things are happening. So understanding the foundation is always good. And second one, always we see with the mental model on we have to chase money. Like money, anything that you do, if you spend time, you need to get money. So just understand much beyond that. It is very important to create value for your time. It is not money. At the initial stage, money will come behind you if you build enough skills that create value. So any company that is it is not going to come there and look for your marks, look for your performance in the memory drill, and you can train for what interview, cracking the interviews and get into a job. That is going to get reduced just because many of such jobs will catch you, train you for one job, repetition, and then deploy, hire, train, deploy. That model is going to be obsolete because repetitive task is not the one that humans are going to do. Humans are going to do the task which need critical thinking and problem solving skills. So what a student or a faculty need to do is enable them to get access to the new knowledge and that knowledge, apply it and create proof of work. And faculty should be the enablers who give them access to the social contacts or networks there. I will get to that later. But chasing the mastery is the key, because this is the very, very, very unique period where a person in India and person in America has been brought in the same space, because all these things came together and we have access to all those things together, and we are very fast learners. So what we have to do is like, we have to do things repetitively and master it. Is just like whenever you are learning, for example, you are learning web development, don't just learn a stack. It is like, build a website, take a requirement from a tea shop, learn it, apply it, build a website and give it, let people use it. That is called proof of work. Creating value for others with what you have learned. Do not ask for money, that even if they pay, you take the money. But doing it repetitively more for more people, even if you do not get money, you are creating value. What happens is like, your muscles, or that you are mastering yourself in web development, getting a valuable asset for any place that you join. And even you do not even have to join, because it is going to be a place of digital nomads. Contracts until retirement is going to expire, and going to be mostly engaging with gig workers and digital nomads. Digital nomads are the people who actually go and work, because they should be capable of doing much higher quality work than others. Because at the time of industry, factories, what happens is like, the skill, the ability that a person have, and the second person might be different. He's a better performer, but their difference is slightly high and low. One person does it 10, other person might produce something 12. But in the tacit workforce, a person might not be able to be replaced by even 10 people. That level, the best and the next best, the difference is much higher. And majority of time, the next best people do is to solve the problems that they have created, just because they were not having that enough mastery in the skills on what they have been doing. So it is just like, do more work and master it. Because just like Sam Altman said recently, that what is the advice for a 20-year-old? So you should work more than what is being normally said for it at the early 20s. Build a lot of connections, and the trajectory that you look for is going to be completely different from the others, because it will have a compounding effect. It is just like a compound interest. Like, you get exposed towards that, the transmission of knowledge to you, the velocity, the new things comes in, you get it immediately. There is a scope for that. Do not wait for it to be bundled in this, and find a lot of people around. And then you will have much better confidence in facing this world, and people will run behind you with jobs. So instead of running behind company, you should get to a position, chase the mastery, and companies run behind you. And one more thing I want to say, like, right now we have two footprints. One is our physical footprint. I, my friends, my family, my this thing, that physically we are there. Understand there is also have a digital footprint. Data footprint means your social media, your identity in the internet. Both of them should be better, because it is mostly, the digital footprint is what being assessed by companies or people faster than your physical footprint. For example, if you are a programmer, you should have proof of work than a resume with certain things that you wrote. You tell like, I learned, I know HTML, CSS, JavaScript, or I know this thing, this thing, this thing. Instead, you have to come up with a proof of work that is considered much valuable, because show your code or show your work, that is very important. And the most important factor is, you have to start breaking your echo chambers for that. So, what is an echo chamber? An echo chamber is we are listening to our own voice, right? You know, echo. When we speak something, you listen it back. The same voice is happening. So, we are always an average of people whom we are surrounded with. And what I know, the other people also know. And whatever they speak, I also know. We are hearing our own echo and we believe like we know everything. So, that is called an echo chamber of information that is a familiar, similar information always being getting consumed. And we live in a world of information overload. Reels and all those things. That is what we are consuming. Thing belongs to categories which you actually are interested in, and it will continuously feed you the same information. But you should understand you are unconsciously incompetent because you do not know what are things you don't know. So these people who are attending this session, who are very curious about roundtable, those are the one who actually constantly break their echo chambers because you listen to others outside your circle, where you start getting new information, which actually make you aware that there are certain things that you don't know, and that is you become consciously incompetent. That actually triggers learning. So one thing you have to understand like that is if you your mindset should be like if you know every you believe that you are know everything because everyone speaks the same thing and you are the best in that room, just it is time to break your echo chambers and do not get satisfied with that. You have to break your boundaries and go beyond and become consciously incompetent where curiosity for learning happens. And next important thing is like as we said, like our perception, our belief. We have been taught that failure is a big mistake. And we always, from the school days, we have been treated in that way that if you fail, you are insignificant. So what is happening today is a period where you have to experiment with a lot of new things and do it by yourself and create proof of work. But people shy away from those because what if I fail? Being afraid of being ridiculed. So, avoiding that failure. Today's need is learning by yourself, learning from peers, and having a mechanism to have new information or knowledge, that delta of knowledge getting to you on a constant basis. Also, applying them and building proof of work means you have to face the fear and ready to be failing in certain experiments. You know, like it is just like previously, some scientists are the one who always do the experiments. Isaac Newton might have done that many experiments, or Einstein has done that many experiments, and majority of the experiments have been failed. But finally, they had the grit and perseverance to overcome the fear, overcome the failure, and get towards success. So today, it is a must for everyone, every individual. It is not just for scientists because you will be doing experiments with a lot of new things on a day-to-day basis. So being ready to be ridiculed is another important factor because, for example, if you see today, it is the age of solopreneurs. Previously, there was a distinction between highly educated or highly that the people with money or high class people and the low class people, and that is there are marginalized, and then the money was the different. Those who have money and those who doesn't have money. And it is not so easy to get money because you need to build huge empire of business. Many years it will take for you to build and a business there. Is it the case today? You might be seeing a lot of people, YouTubers, you will see like they are traveling around the world and enjoying and continuously gaining money in their pocket because money has become something that has changed the way it was before because the access to that money is going to be easy. There are hundred of ways that when you build a skill, you master something, and even if you teach it for others, like you can gain, or you create some videos and have followers, you can gain. So access to money is not a problem at all. But getting towards that mastery, getting towards that skill is the problem. There is a digital divide who have access to that knowledge and new opportunities, and those who doesn't have access towards that. And that is the divide that is going to happen here. And those who have access, they will have access to everything. And those who do not have access to those technologies or skills, or not in that mental model to learn, who are following the past and just think like everything will be okay as before, those people are going to become irrelevant. What will you do? All those repetitive tasks will be replaced, and knowledge and information, it is available and available for free, and it gets synthesized by a and a agents comes and replace different types of jobs. And for example, if you're an accountant today, it is not about creating the balance sheet, where to put these things and all those figures. But what you have to know is like what a figure in a profit and loss account means to the organization, right? Because everything else is done by software. You just put it in, input it, and you are just a data entry. But a person who understand what it means to the company and how to make it more profitable are the one who actually required, and others will become irrelevant. And for that, you have to start overcoming the fear of failure. For example, any YouTubers, take the examples, look back their history on the ancient videos that they have created. There will be hundreds of people coming and telling them, why are you here? What are you doing? Like, are you mad? Are you not ashamed? The people who have persevered and had grit to overcome those failures and get enough experience by improving day by day are the one who actually survived and created quality contents today. So overcoming the fear of failure, facing that each failure is an experience, gives you experience, learning from that experience and improving is the thing. So you have to fail. And if you are not successful in this today's world, it means like you haven't met enough experience for that. That means you haven't met enough failures to be successful. And that is why I mentioned like it is more about mindset, because shelf life of skills are shrinking, and learning new things and implementing is the key. So any questions on that? And when I talk about this thing, like we have created, I think I have been called for it just because like it's talked about MuLearn. Around 16,000 students are part of it. As of today, there is around 32,000 students part of MuLearn, where they are coming there and sharing knowledge for free. They are building with those things. Though these type of concepts have been applied in MuLearn also, to ensure like it will be a supplementary thing, helping the campuses and students having access to mentors and curated content in parallel along with the academic system, so that they learn the foundation at the college, they do well in the examination, they will get the graduation certificate. But if you build the along with that, you build the skills and you have the right mindset to use those skills properly to build proof of work, that is what is being looked by the companies today. And that is what it matters, because more than getting a job in the company, it is going to be a time where more people become solopreneurs or digital nomads, where they work by themselves and multiple companies contract them, because that mastery is the key. And then getting towards the mastery is possible for everyone, but people mostly think like it is very complex. But that mindset also is another important thing. That mental model is things are not complex, you are not familiar with it, become familiar. Because when you go to a new space, you will see like a lot of roads and highways and all those. You think like, oh, it is very complex. But if you stay there for many days, coming there repetitively for some days, then things become very obvious for you, because you repetition is the key, and then you became familiar for that. And one last example that I want to say is like, I think all of you have learned driving. Once you learn driving or ride a bicycle or anything, it is not from the theory that you learn, right? You start driving it. But confidence come to become a confident driver. It is not like you are doing it around your home. Even if you drive, how many days you drive around your home, you would never get confidence to get on the road and drive the car. The confidence is being gained by facing the fear of failure. Like your initial fears will be that is what will happen if a lot of traffic comes, what will happen, it hits. But that is what you have to do because being a driver, that is, it is not meant for being there. You have to go to the road and drive. And you will get ridiculed by people. How are you parking? Why did you do this? You might hit. But doing those type of failures multiple times, you gain your expertise in driving. And the people only who were ready to face that fear are the one who has become better drivers. Yeah.
NEP 2020 talks about internships for students in schools. Do you think industry is willing to accept students to understand latest technologies and develop entrepreneurial think of solving problems they see around?
There are two things. One thing, like I also work with a lot of internships, like trying to provide a lot of internship opportunities for the kids. The one difference between academy and industry is mostly focused on survival. They want to survive, they want to pay salaries, they want to be profitable. So for them to survive, and they will look for all the avenues for them that part to be successful. And their priority is that. At the same time, academia side, it is mostly on the competitions and competitive things. What that campus did, that is, I want to do better, more placements and others. So these two are completely different plane. And even if the NEP mentions about the internship and all those things, that is, what happens if the companies are not willing to provide those internships, then there will be a lot of other agencies that come up, they give the internship certificates and give the, to make money and do the internship certificate. So we need to have an ecosystem where people come together and have the opportunities for the kids to get access to that knowledge. And right now we are trying to sensitize the companies to give internship opportunities for the students. And then because what is happening is that learning new things is also important for the people in the companies, and innovation is something, innovative mindset is the key. And it is very hard for the people to have there in the companies because those people who are there have been brought in another world where they believe like they have learned enough and now I will work in another time. And then the rate of change of learning is very slow in what whoever it is in the industry on that age group. So right now it will get to a stage, but not much service companies, but the product companies will be open to give more internship opportunities for students. But for school students, there might be more like NGOs like New Learn Foundation. Like what happens is like it brings in avenues for them to do proof of work with the help of voluntary support of people in the industry and create those stuff and have it in their profile. So having the portfolio as proof of work with the help of an industry vendor is going to be the next thing that is going to happen. And with minimal support or involvement from the industry. Minimum means 1 or 2 hours. That is, a mentor might be available. That is, you go and ask questions, but you have to go and learn by yourself. The content will be provided. Then, content will be provided, and what need to be created will be provided. You have to go and learn by yourself, or learn from the peers and build it. And then the industry will be available. Industry people will be available to clarify any questions that you have with minimal involvement. That is the only way the company can offer more internships. Virtual internship is the key because it is not practical to have all these students taken to the internship and within the company and work there.
Thank you, sir, for that. We have another question here from Akshita. Really, yeah, how can we cope up with syllabus completion and activities? We should be innovative and same wise should be up to date for exams.
Yeah, that is another important factor that I have been talking with the vice chancellor of the example, Sajisar of KTU and others, because the curriculum bundling a lot of things where they do not get space or time or mindset to work on anything else, because everything we try to provide them in the courses and they have to memorize and do it, and it is completely different and making them busy in doing all those. You have to understand those are not the things that they are going to work in completely, even if you change the curriculum often. So reducing that burden is one important thing. Second one is changing the examination mode. It is the most important factor there, because the memory test is not the one, or memory drills is not the one that they have to be in. So the change have to start from there, and then the bundling. What is happening in some universities that is trying to do, who are working with us, they're trying to do is like there will be certain things as the foundation courses and others will be minors, which actually more practical oriented. So inside the syllabus itself, it should change in a way like they have to learn to apply that knowledge and get the feedback, not just applying it. So it is not just like putting 2 mark or 4 mark for an answer in an answer sheet and keeping it hidden. The proof of work will be published, getting feedback, and how to improve it. And then they go back and work on it. That mode of thing, that is called a productive pedagogy, as you mentioned earlier. From the non-productive pedagogy that we follow right now, it has to switch to a productive pedagogy where that students, those type of capabilities all the time is valued. That is, do not think like our system will remain the same for another 2 to 3 years, even for 2 to 3 years, because you will be seeing like a lot of people quitting India, right? Right now, the quitting day is happening. People are going abroad just because it is not just because of this alone, because we have very good curriculum. Our curriculum is really, it is not like it is a bad curriculum. I want to say like it is a good curriculum, but those many things are need not be bundled inside. Just reduce that thing, and more practical oriented things should come in, and more orientation for the faculties to how to be with the students and learn together with them is also important. So, for the previous question, what I see is like, along with the curriculum, this thing like attendance requirement for 80% or 70%, that has to change. It has to reduced. 60% is when students have to get the pass mark with the exam. If it is for an examination, getting this thing, and they will learn it in very short time span. They have the capability, they have the resource, and they will do it and they will make it. Why should you burden them with that this thing? So that is what I asked our current VC, and then he was asking me like, can you challenge like whatever you are saying is relevant, but why companies are coming and asking for marks for hiring? Then we have to put them in that classrooms and with that attendance and all those things. Can you do something more? You can change the companies coming and asking for that marks and give students with skills and access to interviews. Getting the marks and all those things, get them graduation, but can you say like in the companies you also need to have skills? Then he will go and work back on the other part. So that is what something called launchpad that is being happening right now. You might have listened in all the newspapers have covered in a way like companies are changing the way they hire today. The IT landscape is changing. IT industry came forward and they are changing in a way like all the campuses coming together. 2 months of challenges are being given. Students learn, implement, and show the proof of work. And based on that, a rank list is going to happen and going to hire. So that is the response. And I hope like more changes will happen in the curriculum or the education system, and even the supplementary supply examination. That is another thing. Like you can do have two chances in the examination, and it will not be considered as supplementary. You can make a choice whether to do it now or the next one. Those type of changes will you will see starting to come in the our colleges itself in coming few months, few years.
Thank you, sir, for that. Um, Akshita, this the answer to this question can be read from the book, from our third book, Pedagogy of Digital Natives: An Introduction to Entrepreneurial Education. It's a book which actually focuses on the intrinsic motivation of the learners, on how to teach them, and all these skills are included as curricular, not co-curricular. So you can read through it and check. It's similar to what sir has already said. Now we have another question, sir. Marks are quantifiable and easy to assess. Are there scientific ways to assess skill set and mindset? Can industry help academic world in this regard?
Yes, yes. So right now that is the way it is being changed. I will just show you one thing. So if you look into the World Economic Forum defining the Education 4.0, can you see the screen of Education 4.0? Are you able to see my
Yes.
screen?
Yes, sir.
Defining the Education 4.0. So they have mentioned the taxonomy on how it should be. It should be personalized and self-paced learning, accessible and inclusive, and problem-based collaborative learning and lifelong. And they have came up with the pedagogy in a way like knowledge, this thing, creativity, critical thinking, data skills, problem solving, and all those things are the one on abilities, social, physical, self-regulatory, and so self-regulatory skills is very important. Adaptability, curiosity, grit, perseverance, all those things. So how do we test those things? Was the question, right? So they themselves came up with different things that actually helps them connect these things. You can see like designing a game app, creativity, digital skills programming, problem solving, collaboration, perseverance, and global citizenship. So these are the things that comes together and being tested by giving such practical experiential learning avenues with proof of work. Next one, you can see like environment cleanup and this thing. So there are different types of activities. So proof of work will get defined, and based on that, they decide what to learn and how to make it happen. So mostly with this thing, you can refer to the Education 4.0 taxonomy to know like how it need to be, and then what educators have to do and what parents have to do with that fostering the for education 4.0 skills. So mostly you will see like creativity, critical thinking, so abilities and skills, and attitude and values is most important thing there. And then there are methods to identify it, and I will also share you one more thing, that is on MuLearn, because um it's hard for me to change the screen, then I have to. So there is something called Mulan that is being done by the group of technology. She mentioned about the group of technology companies in the state. Around 280 plus IT companies in Kerala is part of GTech, and GTech has came up with an assessment from the industry side on something called MuLearn. MuLearn helps the students understand. So bringing everyone together and working together for that. If you want, I can you can play this video and see it. But you will see like programs. So each thing, whenever you want to learn something, it will guide you through the proof of works that you want to do, and then the orientation session. That is everything is pre-immune. Okay, this thing that is I'm just mentioning it because those things, certain researchers are there who are working with me on this thing. That is that those things are getting applied in Mueller to have create or prepare the students for the future. So you can see like if they are learning web development, there will be mentors available, like make marking up a letter, there will be certain task and karma points based on that. And then eventually they start building things. And then building means, for example, building a business online by learning web. I am just showing you a web development example. So what is happening? They are starting to go back and create website for different real world projects and getting the requirement, doing it and building it. And building 1 lakh business online is one thing that is collectively doing. So having the proof of work is the key on assessing these things. Getting things to completion, getting things delivering and start people using it. Doing that is one thing. And second one, the Kerala government has initiatives like knowledge economy mission coming up with young innovator program and all those things are getting into the curriculum, because the way it gets handled might be you might have different options, but uh, thinking about problems around and coming up with a solution for that, innovation is going to be the key. So young innovator program is just one example on a starting step towards that, which will get to the curriculum in a way like the curriculum is going to change. And then even I will show you another thing. So ABGC XR policy, the IT policies and the industry policies is keep on changing. Or well, what is happening is like from the standard one itself, more practical, more such way of learning in for the digital natives is going to happen. So the assessment is possible, but it is it is hard to implement just because the middle layer, the people who actually has to deliver it towards that. It need not be just the faculties there. Having the trainers, train the trainer model and going there is not the model. That is enablers. There will be more industry immersion programs for the faculties to come and understand, work and get the industry experience and share that to the students. But they will be mostly peer learning and self-learning and then connecting to the network. It is not just about what you know, it is also about who all you know. Having a great social capital is very important in this space. So assessing those things is mostly on a public vetting model that happens where peers will come and provide the feedback and then vendors will give the approval and then they gain the proof of work points and that will add to their digital footprint. As I mentioned earlier, the physical footprint is the on the digital footprint, publicly visible proof of work is going to happen. So I will just, if you want, I can. Because I have to switch between these things. That is one big important problem. I will show you one thing how you can see like around 32,000 people in the Mulan server right now. What they're doing is like they are going through different levels. It is like a game. They're going and there are certain tasks that is being given. Go to self-introduce, this thing, etc. Proof of work. And they are building products or projects. Okay. And submitting. Okay. So, and then what is happening there is people will peer review it. So, and vendor, so you can see like it is coming and reviewed, update your profile, these things, and then vendor approved, then they gain karma points. Karma points is the gain by doing things, and anybody can go there and verify it. Okay, and then there is something about in there that generates the card as the digital line. It is just like a digital identity. You have a UPI ID, right? It is interoperable. Like any banks can you can use that card to your UPI ID to do the transactions anywhere, right? So similarly, interoperable skilling and accountability system is what has been created in Mueller, and there is a leaderboard like so. It is just like a game. They are coming and engaging with that. So if you look at it, like each colleges, you see like St. Joseph, there is around 1,500 students and 1.53 million karma points. And if you look, St. Kitts, 3,000, 30,000. And then many of the colleges, once the students get in towards that, they start building each other because it is everything is freely accessible. Zero financial transactions happens in the system, and people actually learn by doing and sharing knowledge and giving the feedback on whatever happening there. So there is specific task, proof of work, and then they gain karma points for those activities there. So this is just like one example of such an implementation where companies are right now hiring based on these karma points. So you will see like hiring IEEE is working with us on the launchpad with this thing. So what is happening? Craft your digital identity. You have to build things, and then you have to come up with the proof of work, and then there is leaderboard that is happening there based on this thing, and this is going to be a hiring method, and all those things is happening just because there is a public vettable system where they are building things, others are reviewing it, and proof of work is being approved, and then people are getting karma points for that. So there is just like one implementation. I just want to show you that how it happens in Mulan as an example. So mostly defining the validation for how do we assess that he has learned that thing. It can be creating a video of how he built it. I will just show you an example. So projects, you will see like sharing the project. So another person that is he has built it, working on the self-sufficient portable this thing, creating those things and showcasing those things to the others reviewing it, asking questions, he answers it, and then approving it. Those type of feedback mechanism will be there, and it is done in a massive scale in a way like the peers are the one who actually reviews it. You gain the privilege to peer review it after doing certain things. So it is not like anybody come and do the peer review. So likewise, peers, learning from peers and learning by self is going to be most important thing. And proof of work or validation of skill is going to be validation of their work. Proof of skills is going to be proof of work.